This is gonna blow your mind. News, ghosts, travel, and pop culture all in one show. Ready to dive in? Let's go. From breaking headlines and eerie encounters to epic European adventures and the latest pop culture craziness, nothing's off limits. Robert, Crew, and Julie bring shock, laughs, and those wait, seriously, moments every episode. Hit subscribe, join the fun, and ride the chaos with us. This is the Robert and Crew Show, Season 7 Unleashed.
Welcome back to the Robert and Crew Show. As always, I'm your host, Robert.
And I'm your podcast co-host, Native American Crew.
And I'm your co-host, Julie.
And guys, we know we have been away for, 6 days? Almost a whole week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know that we've taken a little bit of time off, and we just kind of needed it for a mental break. And also, I didn't have enough money to pay for my streaming service. So, but the break was nice. So we're back. We're going to be back now regularly.
Yep.
And tonight, as you can see by Crew's name, we're going to be going over Native American heritage and culture. And Crew is allowed to have that as his name because he is literal Indian.
Yeah.
I
was given a Native American
No matter
name.
how many parts you are, bro, you're still literally Indian blood. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to elaborate what Rob said. I am 1/4. I am a Potawatomi, Lakota. Never say Sioux and Lakota because it's offensive to that tribe.
Yeah.
I'm also a Potawatomi. Oh, did I say a Potawatomi? Okay, so Potawatomi, Lakota, Blackfoot, and Apache. Never say Apache because it's wrong. Always say Apache.
Oh, yeah.
And on my dad's side, I'm Cherokee. So I don't look it. That's because on my dad's side, I have Irish and German and a whole bunch of others. Also on my mom's side, I also have a whole bunch of others as well. But if you seen pictures of my grandparents and my mom and a few others in my family, you can see the Native American ascents and their skin color tone. Now,
and the high cheekbones.
Yeah. Now, in the summer, Rob will tell you this. I tan very, very much to where you can tell I'm Native American. Now, when it's not summer, how pale do I get, bro?
Like a mayonnaise paste.
Now, during the summer, though, I tan so much that I don't blister. It just makes my skin go darker.
That's kind of how my cousin's is. I mean, he would, in the summer, when we would be outside playing, he would turn a dark shade.
Yeah.
Really dark shade. Because, I mean, I believe...
You know what keeps me going out here? A cold Dr. Pepper and a great podcast like the Robert and Crew Show.
Sorry for that interruption,
Dr.
Julie.
Pepper.
The only one left out on the Dr. Pepper part. No, sorry, bro, but you are left out because you don't have your Dr. Pepper for tonight. But we aren't sponsored by Dr. Pepper, but we always have a Dr. Pepper. So if you always see that in the stream, it's our breaking news from Bigfoot because he loves Dr. Pepper in our podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I want you all to tell me your favorite Native American food.
Have you ever had buffalo?
I have buffalo in the fridge right now.
I
Speaking
haven't
of
had
buffalo,
buffalo since
It's
I
spicy.
went to my last powwow.
They're
In my last powwow, I had to be about 17, 18 years old.
Except you're mislabeling it. It's actually a bison.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
bison.
There
it
are
is
no buffalo
bison.
left alive.
It is a bison, but check this
No.
out. Okay. So when I was at a powwow, this was years ago. When I was little, younger, around like my early teens, like like grade school to early teens, around there.
Yeah.
I went to Iowa for or was no, I went through Iowa to go to Minnesota. That's what it was. So I went to Minnesota, not too far from the border of Canada, and it was packed, like hella packed. Like I stayed like a couple of days there,
Minnesota.
and my grandfather was running a stand alongside a family friend, and my mom and the family friend's kids and I all went to go to where they were, serving people food for free. And I shit you not, I got 4 buffalo burgers that night. That's what they're called, buffalo burgers, and they are fire.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
they're so good.
and I first time I ever tried it. I was like, "Can I get 3 more, Mom?" She's like, "Yeah, go for it." So I got all 4, and one thing they forget to tell you about buffalo burgers, it's so tender that you might want to let people know to not be near you, because it's so, like, the meat is so good that it gets you like so stuffed up, like you're so full and stuff. And I regret having 4, but it was still so good.
Yeah, I was gonna say you ate like 4 of them, bro.
hmm But
Oh,
no,
but their food. Oh my gosh, their food is
but
so delicious.
yeah. So, but honestly, the one thing though I will not eat, because I can't, like, I do, but I don't like it, is deer meat.
I love deer meat.
I
I
have to
like
eat
deer
it.
meat.
I have to eat it a certain way. It has to be cooked just right, and
I got deer meat in the freezer also.
Hey,
I got
where's
bison
my?
and deer meat.
Wow, that sounds good. I haven't had deer meat in forever.
I don't mind it, but sometimes you get a lot of like parasites that can live inside a deer.
Yeah.
So like you got to be very careful with your cuts of deer meat. And if you're gonna do it, you should really take it to a butcher and have them do it for you, and then they can tell you like if the deer has parasites, what kind of parasites, are they okay to cook, and will you be okay to eat it, or should you get rid of the entire thing?
Yeah.
right.
My
Yeah.
thinking of that, my first stepfather I had, he was a cook and a butcher. He butchered the deer for us, and so he was pretty good at it.
Yeah, I've eaten deer meat a couple of times. Like I said, I got deer meat in the freezer right now. Um, I like deer. I like elk. I like bison. I love meat in general. Give me some meat, and I'll.
Yeah. And fresh turkey, right from the
Oh, so since we're on the topic of elk and deer, or not deer, elk and bison, there is something we're also forgetting to talk about: the catfish. And what is one thing we can do out there in Blue Springs, bro? Between Blue Springs and Lee Summit.
Fish.
Well, yeah, but I'm not talking about going fishing. I'm talking about, there's 3 things you can go do. It's at the lake, and they have fenced in bison and elk.
Yeah, yeah. You can go feed the. Well, you used to be able to feed the bison and the elk, but you can't do that anymore.
Right.
They had a fishery.
And you can also go feed the catfish.
Well, they're carp.
I thought they were catfish, but
No, they're
okay.
big ass carp. They're carp that are like this big.
Oh,
They're
wow.
The
ridiculous.
cool thing about that, Julie, is whenever I would go, right, when I was little, I stopped going when I was a teenager, but I would go with my mom, my stepdad, and my siblings. When before they were born, I would just go with my mom because she used to take me before she got married and all that. She's no longer married now, whatever. But that's. But so when she used to take me from when I was a kid to a teenager, right? She would literally take me inside and buy me like 3 big bags of like this type of food. And they're like kind of like cat. They're kind of like cat or dog food or whatever. Some
Yeah,
type of food. Pellets. Yeah, it was pellets type food. And we could go anywhere on that dock and go feed the fish. And they would get frenzy like wanting the fish. Like they would literally stick their heads out and like doing this and everything. It was really cool.
They still
I
do.
bet.
Yeah.
You can go there and you can still feed them. They're huge. We take the kid there all the time.
I haven't been in forever. I want to start going again. That's one of my favorite memories to go do when I was younger.
Well, next time you're in town, I'll take you.
But yeah, so yeah, that's some cool things about. Oh, and the cool things about where we live, right? And then like right, well, also where I live over by, it's called the Indian Mound. Where I live, there's an Indian Mound somewhere over here.
Right.
And if you look on like the GPS thing, it'll say Indian Mound, right? But over in between where I live, all the way to Independence, all the way to Blue Springs, like right in between Kansas City and Blue Springs, nonstop Indian Mounds. Like, they have a thing out in Independence called Fort Osage, because that's Native American territory. And cool thing about Fort Osage High School, people have said they've seen spirits of Native Americans.
I believe it.
Like one person
With all
said
the mounds.
one person said they swore up at night that they saw a Native American spirit riding a horse, or on a horse. Like you could see like the figure, but it wasn't actually there.
I actually have my own experience. It was not in here. It was in Colorado. My grandmother owned a pretty big piece of property out there, like possibly a couple 100 acres. I don't know how many acres were there, but probably like at least 100 something acres. And there was a hill. It was huge, and you had to climb down the hill. And when you got down the hill, there was a creek. And down by the creek, there was like we set up like a campfire thing and all this other stuff there. And basically, one night I went down there by myself to go fish, and it was getting dark. And all of a sudden, I hear just the sound of drums, like doo, 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 doo. And then out of nowhere, I saw an apparition of what looked like a horse come by me with somebody riding horseback, and it passed by. But I heard the drums loud as day, and then they were gone.
That's pretty cool.
It's a really weird spirit thing that I had happen.
I bet. And thinking of all these animals and stuff, I was in my notes. It talks about their spirit animal.
Yeah.
And I think mine's a bobcat.
So,
because
crew, explain real quick to the viewers what spirit animals mean to Native Americans and what they represent.
So To me, it's basically kind of like your aura, right? It's like, okay, for instance, my name in Lakota means nighthawk, right?
Right.
So I'm my spirit animal would be a hawk.
Right.
And cool thing about me is I love birds. I absolutely love birds.
He loves
And
birds so much. He told me one time he can talk to him.
oh yeah, like for fact, Rob was with me for this. He didn't believe me. So we were hanging out in my backyard at my old house in Blue Springs, right? And I'm like, bro, watch this. I'm gonna show you because since you doubted me, I started, speaking bird. Doing the whistling and everything like a bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And looking up at because in my backyard, it's a big backyard where you can see like the not telephone pole. Are they telephone pole? No, those
The
big
power
old
lines.
those big old like wires are hooked up on the poles.
Power lines.
Power line, thank you. Yeah, I was like, bro, look at the power line and watch this. So I started whistling like a bird, but like for like good 5 minutes. His face reaction was I can't remember exactly what it is, but it was kind of like a shock
He
reaction.
laughed a whole bunch.
When he gets nervous, he starts laughing. About 150 to 100 birds all got on the power lines
It was more
and
like
looked
20.
down right at us.
It was more like 20.
Look, I couldn't count. It looked more to me, but 20 sounds about right. But it kind of looked more than that to me at that time. But
Yeah.
we were younger, so
It was a lot of birds.
yeah.
It doesn't
And-
matter. It was a lot of birds.
And I can't remember what kind of birds they
They were
were, but it
Sparrows,
was pretty
right?
cool.
They were like sparrows. They were like tiny
Yeah.
little birds. They
Yeah.
weren't big birds by any means. It wasn't like a raven or a crow. It was like a small little starling or a sparrow.
Yeah. And a week after that, this was after school, and we were all hanging out, and I told Rob to, since he's got nothing else better to do,
telling
he wanted
you
to
a
hang out
story.
at school.
He's telling you the story of when he screeched like a hawk, and he literally had a hawk yell back at him, and it came down and it flew down to its tree that was right outside the bus stop, or like not the bus stop, but like where the buses stop at the high school to like pick people up. And the hawk swooped down, and crew
This is how,
yelled at
like-
it again, and it yelled back at him right there in front of everybody.
So this is where I had my arm up, like
It was
this, right?
hilarious.
And it literally, its wing touched the tip of my fingers when it flew by. And nobody believed me I could get it to happen because I saw the hawk and was like, guys, watch this. So I screeched like a hawk to get its attention, and it flew right at my fingers.
I know. I thought it was gonna hurt him. I was like, this thing's gonna attack him. It thinks he's challenging it.
That's pretty cool. I mean, because you don't see very many people that can actually screech like a hawk can.
Well,
I mean, they're pretty unique.
I can still do it, but I don't do it as much as I used to.
I don't know
like
if
when
you
I was
can
younger.
anymore, bro. You've been smoking a lot of cigarettes.
Well, no, problem is about, speaking trying to screech like a hawk is it takes it takes so much power to do it that it actually affects us, not because of the fact that I smoke so much. It's the fact that when
It affects your vocal cords.
and point where I can't speak as much.
Yeah.
So I stopped doing it.
I used to crow a lot.
I stopped doing it because of the fact that right here, it would start affecting right here and start hurting. So I don't do it anymore, and I wish I still could. I can. I know I can, but I choose not to because I don't want to hurt my lungs.
Yeah. I used to crow a lot with the crows, and having them call back was pretty cool.
My wife can talk to turkeys. She can make a perfect turkey gobble, and they
Yes, you
gobble
can.
back at her every time. It's
Oh, I
hilarious.
believe
Yeah,
it.
it's really cool. Whenever we go to Burrock Woods, I've heard her do it, and I've seen them gobble back at her. It's pretty funny to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom can do uh talk to a cow. I mean, she sounds like a cow. When she moves, they move right back.
Why would you say that, Julie? Now you're having me. Oh my gosh! No, I'm dead. I'm dead. That's funny. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! No, I'm losing
But
it.
I'm serious. She can talk to. I mean, she would move to the cows, and they would move. It would be so funny. But I mean, they would look right at her. It was funny. But it was fun.
I used to call my cat by meowing at him.
I used to do
But
that.
but yeah, when it comes to spirit animals, it's more along the lines of it. It has a distinct meaning to it. It's like
Yeah.
it's
I wrote
more along the
down
lines of
some. I wrote down some spirit animals. If you want to hear it.
sure. But before you do, Julie, I'm gonna say this. It's a meaning for who you are in your culture, in the Native American heritage, and it's very distinct.
Is it possible to have a dragon as your spirit animal?
I honestly don't believe.
I don't know.
I don't believe so. I
I don't
haven't
know.
heard about that.
Every culture in the world talks about dragons. Why wouldn't Indians?
Right.
But that's interesting. But you ready?
Sure, go for it.
I the most common spirit animals. Bear is for strength and warrior spirit. The eagle is for wisdom and blessing. The wolf is nobility and blessings, and the raven is a trickster spirit. And spiders are protectors of the earth. That's the only spirit animals I had saw right now.
By the way, the answer to our question is yes, the dragon is considered a spirit animal.
Okay.
It signifies seeking personal empowerment, spiritual awakening, or to overcome significant life challenges.
Okay, so I'm gonna read this because because this is in my notes, right? I did not send you this, bro. Luckily I remembered that I had this.
You didn't send it.
I did not send it, but I remembered I had it because this is because I knew you were gonna ask me a question about the spirit animals thing. In Native American culture, right,
Yeah.
are believed to possess spiritual significance and symbolism. They're often associated with guidance and protection, which is like spiritual guides, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Connection to which is basically spirit animals are thought to serve as guides, offering protection, wisdom, and guidance to individuals on their life's journey. Okay. Connection to nature, nature's wisdom. Spirit animals represent a connection to nature and the natural world, teaching individuals about the importance of living in harmony with the environment. And then the personal significance, like totem animals, um, which is in some Native American cultures, individuals are associated with a specific totem animal, which is believed to reflect their personality, strengths, and weaknesses. Then
Cruz would be a
spiritual
hawk.
significance, spiritual messengers. Spirit animals are often seen as messengers between the physical and spiritual worlds, offering insight and guidance to those who seek it. And then here's the examples, like the eagle represents strength, courage, and wisdom, which was my grandfather's spirit animal, eagle. Then you got the wolf, symbolizes loyalty, perseverance, and adaptability, which is my mom's. Adaptability. Sorry. Then you got the bear, embodies strength, protection, and healing. And then you got deer, represents gentleness, agility, and intuition. And then an important note for the cultural sensitivity. And it's influential to approach concept of spirit in animals with cultural sensitivity and respect, recognizing the diversity and richness of Native American cultures and traditions. So you got to take that into account. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so basically, that's something that what it explains for the spirit animals. And I thank you for reminding me because I did have that notes, and I was like, oh, shoot, I forgot to send that to Rob. But I want to get into this information real quick. Bear with me; it is long. So Native American cultures are incredibly diverse, spanning thousands of years and hundreds of distinct tribes, each with unique languages, traditions, and ways of life. There are over 570 federally recognized tribes in the U.S. alone, and many more that are not federally recognized, with histories rooted in the land long before European contact. So below I will provide a broad overview of key aspects of Native American cultures organized for clarity while acknowledging that this is a vast topic that can't be fully captured in one response. I'll aim to the concise yet comprehensive drawing on available knowledge and avoiding speculation. Okay? So, diversity of tribes and religions. Here is the first one. Native American cultures vary widely across geographic regions shaped by their environments. So you got Northeast, you got the Iroquois and the Algonquin.
The Algonquin and the Iroquois.
Yeah. Known for longhouses, wampum belts, and Iroquois Confederacy, a sophisticated political alliance.
So I pulled up on the screen right now a map that literally shows all federally recognized tribes.
Right. Now, they relied on farming, like corn, beans, and squash. The Three Sisters, and hunting. So the farming, the corn, beans, and squash, they called the Three Sisters, right?
Yeah.
Now southeast, we got the Cherokee and the Seminole, the Seminole.
The Seminole.
Seminole. Thank you. I always call them the Seminole, but they're actually Seminole. Developed complex societies with mound building, like the
Seminoles were in Florida.
yeah, like
It's listed here on the map. The Seminoles,
the Cowie,
the tribe in Florida.
the Cowie is, I guess how you say it, the Cowie. Agriculture and trade networks. The Cherokee had a written syllabary created by Sequoia, I guess how you say it. Sequoia, thank you. Some of these I'm going to probably mispronounce because they're really hard to, say. Then you got the Great Plains, which is the Lakota and the Cheyenne. Nomadic tribes followed buffalo herds using tipis for mobility, They had rich oral traditions and ceremonies like the sun dance. Which is very true. Then you got the Southwest. You got the Navajo, the Hopi, and the Pueblo. Known for
Pueblo.
Yeah, Pueblo. Thank you. Known for the adobe pueblos, intricate
Adobe.
weaving, Navajo rugs, and
Bro,
yeah,
I don't mean to interrupt, but you misspoke. You called it something entirely wrong, but they're actually adobe houses,
adobe.
and they are so gorgeous. Like I will pull up a picture right now of an adobe house in Colorado, and you will be like, "Oh my God, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life."
Well, it's called adobe pueblos, is what it says. Adobe pueblos.
Yeah, because the Pueblo tribe made them.
Right.
I am pulling it up right now. Yeah, you drink that Dr. Pepper. Yeah, it's just taking forever to load. Here it is. They are awesome. They're literally made out of mud and grass and sometimes rock and like sand.
Right.
And they are so beautiful. Like, I think this is gorgeous.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in Cuba-based spiritual practices, the Hopi are famous for Kachina dolls and dry farming.
The Kachina doll.
Yeah. I want to see what those look like. I've always wondered what they look like. I never, like, that is one of the things that I've always was like, there's certain things I've never got to see, but, I've always wondered.
Okay, so here's what Kachina dolls look like.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty neat looking.
Yeah, those are pretty cool looking. Let's see here. What else does it say? Okay, Northwest Coast. We got the Tlingit Haida. Thrived on fishing and totem pole archery with potlatch ceremonies to display wealth and social ties.
What did you call them?
Which one?
The one you're talking about now.
Tlingit and Haida.
I don't see them on the map.
They're Northwest Coast.
I know, I'm looking. Do you see it on the map, Julie?
No, it's too small for me
It's too
to.
small for you to see.
Yeah, it's too small for me also.
Yeah, no, it's not. They're not on the map, but I believe you. Okay.
But
Anyways, continue.
okay. So and then California, we got the Chumash and the Pomo. Diverse microcultures with Basquery, a corn-based diets, and coastal adaptations.
Yeah, Elmstead said that the map that I'm using doesn't show the West Coast.
Mm. And then we got the Great Bison. We got the Shoshone and Paiute. Hunter-gatherers adapt to arid environments with a focus on survival skills. Arctic, subarctic. We got the Inuit and then the Cree. relied on hunting seals, caribou, and fishing with igloos and kayaks as cultural hallmarks. Each tribe has its own language, governance, and customs, though some shared themes like respect for nature emerge across cultures. So that's number one.
Okay.
And then number two, the core cultural elements, spiritual and religion. Most Native American cultures emphasize a deep connection to the land, animals, and spirits. Animism is common where natural elements have spiritual significance. Ceremonies like a Navajo blessing way or Lakota vision quest reflect this. Many tribes incorporate creation stories such as the Navajo's emergence from lower worlds or the Iroquois Sky Woman. Then you got the oral traditions. Storytelling is central, passing down history, values, and myths. Trickster figures like the coyote, southwest, or raven, northwest, appear in many tales. Art and craftsmanship. From Navajo jewelry to Haida totem poles, art is functional and symbolic. Beadwork, quillwork, and pottery often carry cultural stories. Social structures. Clans, kingship systems, and marital like the Navajo,
Here's
or
some Navajo jewelry.
oh, that's beautiful.
Okay.
Now,
Absolutely gorgeous.
the cool
I
thing about
love
my
them blues.
grandparents, I'm gonna before I get back to my information. Cool thing about my grandparents, one thing they were really good at, and Rob um, you know, can definitely agree with me on this because he's seen it, is their jewelry making for the Native
Oh
American
yeah.
jewelry. It was beautiful. Like Rob's seen a lot of like when they would get in their workshop because they had their own workshop and a bunch of these like little like beads and whatever. They would make a bunch of different jewelry, and it's beautiful.
Well, me and your grandfather for a minute were kind of close.
Oh yeah,
So yeah, he showed me a lot of stuff.
oh yeah.
I remember
Like,
that cane he had that he carved.
hmm
He was so proud of that thing, and it looked so cool. Like it had the birds and the dogs on it, and he did such a good job with it. It's so pretty.
heck yeah. I remember that one too. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but
I saw it when it was in the truck when he picked me up off the side of the road. He was in a
right.
car. He picked me up in a car when I was or a truck when I was on the side of the road, and he took me over to your house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then didn't he show you a bunch of his beadwork that day?
probably. Showed me a lot of stuff.
But all right, where was I? Okay.
You were talking
Oh
about
yeah,
Navajo.
yeah. Okay, so or patrilineal societies shaped community life. Leadership varied from chiefs to councils. Then you got the food and substance. Diets depended on the region. Corn-based agriculture in the southwest, buffalo in the plains, salmon in the northwest.
See a lot of
The three
fishing.
sisters, and then you got the three sisters were a staple for many.
Yeah, there was a lot of fishing in
Yeah.
different tribes, especially in Florida.
Mhm. And then we got number 3, which is historical context. Pre-Columbian era. Complex societies existed like the Mississippian culture city of Cahokia. Population 20,000 at its peak. Trade networks span continents. Then you got the European contact. Colonization brought disease, displacement, and cultural suppression. The Trail of Tears, 1830s, forcibly removed Cherokee and others, while boarding schools aimed to assimilate native children. Then you got the resistance and resilience. Tribes like the Apache, led by Geronimo Geronimo and Lakota, Battle of Little Bighorn, 1876, resisted U.S. expansion. Modern movements like AIM, American Indian Movement, in the 1960s to 70s fought for rights. Contemporary issues. Today, Native Americans face challenges like poverty or reservations, loss of languages, over 100 are endangered, and legal battles over land and water rights. Yet cultural revitalization is strong, with powwows, language programs, and tribal sovereignty movements. Now let's get into the key cultural practices and traditions. Ceremonies like powwows, open to many tribes, feature dance, drumming, and regalia. Regalia, I guess is how you say it. Specific rituals like the Apache sunrise ceremony, a girl's coming of age, are tribe specific. Language. Over 200 native languages exist, though many are at risk. Efforts like Navajo immersion schools aim to preserve them. Traditional knowledge. Practices like herbal medicine, star knowledge, Lakota star maps, and sustainable land use reflect deep ecological understanding. Then you got gaming and economy. Some tribes, like the Seminola, leverage casinos for Seminole. Leverage casinos for economic growth, though this varies widely. Then you got number 5, modern contributions and representation. Native Americans contribute to art, literature, and politics.
Before you go on, I did just have an image up on the screen. That image was of what you talked about earlier. This is Little Bighorn. This is the monument at Little Bighorn Battlefield. Okay, you can continue, brother.
All right, let's see, where did I leave off? Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, so authors like Louis Erdrich, Ojibwe, and Joy Hardrow, Muskogee, their native names, alongside their American names. The first native U.S. poet laureate amplify native voices. Representation in media is growing, but often stereotypical. Films like Smoke Signals and TV shows like Reservation Dogs offer authentic perspectives. Political figures like Deb Haaland, Laguna Pueblo, U.S. Secretary of the Interior, mark historic milestones. Then you got the last one right here for number 6, and then I'll go in the notes after that. Challenges in understanding Native cultures, stereotypes. Media often reduces Native cultures to feathers, war bonnets, and ignoring diversity. Historical trauma. Policies like the Indian Removal Act and boarding schools disrupted cultural continuity. access to information. While I can provide an overview, primary sources tribal websites, elders, teachings, or books by native authors like Vin Delry Jr. Custard died for your sins, offer deeper insight. So
Hey,
if you guys want to check out that book, go for it.
Elmstead wants to know if you know anything about the conquistadors.
Conquistadors?
Uh-huh.
No.
So let me look it up real quick.
And while you're looking that up, I'm going to read this last bit. Then you got here's the note. This overview generalizes due to the vastness of Native American cultures. If you want specifics on a tribe, region, or practice like Navajo, weaving, Lakota, spirituality, let me know. For sensitive topics, sacred rituals, I'll avoid details that are culturally restricted or require tribal permission to share. You have a specific question or want me to focus on a tribe or aspect, please clarify and I can tailor the response.
So the
Oh,
definition of the conquistador is a conqueror, specifically one of the Spanish conquerors of Mexico and Peru in the 16th century.
Okay.
The term
okay.
refers to a leader of the Spanish conquest of the Americas who played a significant role in the colonization and exploration of these new territories.
Okay.
You were talking earlier about this, and I wanted to see what your whole view is on this specifically, the Trail of Tears.
A sad time for Native Americans.
For sure.
So
I mean, it's so
explain
sad.
what happened, because I know a little bit from what I was taught in school, but honestly, I don't remember. I just know that they were pushed out. These tribes were pushed out, and they had to walk this long of a distance, and a lot of them died and got sick and all kinds of stuff. Correct?
Yes. So the Trail of Tears was a series of forced relocations of Native American tribes, right?
Yeah.
Particularly the Cherokee or the Muskogee, the Creek, the Seminole, the Chickasaw, and the Choctaw
Right.
from their ancestral lands in the southeastern United States to the Indian Territory, present-day Oklahoma, during the 1830s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the Trail of Tears. Here's the causes and consequences. You got the Indian Removal Act, right?
Right.
So the Trail of Tears was a result of the Indian Removal Act of 1830, signed into law by President Andrew Jackson, which he authorized the federal government to negotiate treaties that exchanged Native American lands, like, east of the Mississippi River for land west of the river.
Yeah. So it looks like from basically Tulsa all the way to Atlanta or Canton.
Right. So it was a forced relocation, right? So the relocation process was brutal.
Athens too in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Just like a little bit.
With thousands of Native Americans forced to march hundreds of miles into harsh conditions, leading to significant loss of life, cultural disruption, and trauma. So you got to take all that in consideration. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they moved all those tribes out of Missouri too, because they got all those tribes to move right down to definitely right out of Missouri.
Yeah, and you want to know how many lost their lives?
How many is
Thousands of Native Americans died during the Trail of Tears, and you want to know why?
Wait, how many?
Thousands.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they die. If I'm correct, sickness, starvation, and quite a few of them just were elderly and old and definitely couldn't make it.
Well, exposure,
Yeah.
disease, and
exposure.
starvation.
Yeah.
are the three main ones. Now, cultural disruption in this aspect, the forced relocation led to significant cultural disruption as Native American communities were forced to adapt to new environments and circumstances. Now, the historical trauma for the Trail of Tears is considered a traumatic event in Native American history with ongoing impacts on the social, cultural, and economic well being of affected communities. Now, when it comes to all that, that is one of the hardest things to talk about for Native
Right.
Americans.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And
And
then y'all mentioned Custer, Custer's Last Stand.
Uh-huh.
Um, there's a movie that I watched that showed some very accurate looking things that could have really happened during that time period. And I cannot tell you the name of the movie right now, but I'm telling you, if I could, I would tell you which one. It's just so good, and it actually, being based on the true story, it makes it just come out at you, and it makes you feel so bad for the Indians.
So, funny enough, I think it's really shitty what happened to a lot of the Indian tribes. Like, it definitely wasn't cool to take the land that we did in the way that we took it. But I will tell you right now that some of those tribes were going to attack us no matter what.
Yes, that's
Some of those
true.
some of those tribes were bloodthirsty.
Yep.
Most famously, the Apache. The
Oh, yeah.
Apache and the
Yep.
Cherokee. The
And
Cherokee and the
Geronimo.
Apache, yeah, they freaking loved fighting. They loved it.
Yeah.
They sought out fights. So, yeah, some of
And
them
probably
they fought each
Geronimo.
other. They fought other Indian tribes all the time over territory. So, like, quite honestly, back then, like, I'm not saying it's right, but back then, that's what everybody did. They conquered somebody, they took that land. So,
Yep.
what happened was the colonizers came in with their guns, and the Indians had bow and arrow. And the first guy that tried to shoot a bow and arrow at somebody with a gun realized real fast that the gun was much more powerful.
Yes.
And now, back then, it was probably still black powder. So you had to like reload stupidly. Your stupid muzzle gun or whatever, have to reload that thing a really dumb way. They probably had some kind of pistol back then too, like a flintlock or something. But yeah, no, that's definitely what happened. Is we brought boom boom stick, and the Indians did not have that back then. They didn't
Yeah.
know what that was. But I'll tell you what, they definitely were a lot more stealthier than we were, and they killed a lot of us. A lot of us. And
Yeah.
by us, I just mean original Americans that came here, not necessarily us. We weren't allowed.
Yeah.
We had nothing to do with that. I don't support it, but I think in that time period, it was just what they did, and they did it everywhere. Like we weren't the only ones that were killing off tribes or making tribes move for land. I'm sure it was happening in other places. It had to be, because eventually the entire world became this what we're
Yeah.
living in now. And the only places you really find these Indian tribes now, at least uncontacted Indian tribes, are random islands in the middle of the ocean or the Amazon rainforest. They find uncontacted tribes in the Amazon almost like yearly now. Like they find them all the time, just complete tribes that live out their lives completely naked in the Amazon forest, which is insane to think about because so many bugs and so many predators live in the Amazon and you're running around there naked. Like, oh my God, like there's so many bad
Yeah.
things that could happen. But these tribes are like used to it and that's all they do. And they hunt that way and they're very stealthy. If it wasn't for detection like LiDAR and like different kinds of radar, a lot of these tribes would still be not known about today.
Yeah.
Quite a few
What
of
is
them are only known because of our technological growth. But quite a few of these tribes you can't visit
yeah.
because if you accidentally like, they might eat you. They might actually eat you. But also, if you accidentally bring technology that they don't understand,
They'll get
it,
frustrated and start attacking. Probably.
well, either they get frustrated or or they may end up treating you like a god or kidnapping you or something crazy like that. And like,
Sacrifice you to their gods or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that would necessarily happen, but I'm saying those are the only real Indian tribes that are like actually still living off land naturally, without being bothered. And there were tribes on islands for a while that specifically there was a cannibal tribe on an island that you're not allowed to visit. Like you literally are not allowed to go there.
Are you
And
talking about the one over by India?
probably. And some dude went there recently and died. Like he never came back.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
rumor was he was a Rockefeller or related to one of the Rockefellers.
Mm.
But he went to that tribe and he never returned. Word on the street is they probably ate him, but nobody knows.
I don't know. But anyways.
No, but it does tie in with
Yeah, it
Native
does.
Americans because those are the only tribes in
Yeah.
today's world that are still alive to this day and are really left unbothered. Like we don't bother them. And the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
reason why we don't bother these people is they don't like they're still in the Stone Age, basically. And we are so much further technologically advanced that they could learn super easy, but it would be a difficult process and try to get those people to pay taxes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But crew, you said there's a lot of problems with casinos and gambling when it comes to the reservations, right? Which is kind of a sad situation. In my point of view, is that the governments should have never allowed the casinos, but since they were on reservation land, they were Indian owned, so they didn't have to apply to normal casino rules. So basically, they could build a casino wherever they wanted on their land. It was
Yeah.
totally okay for them to do. In the process, they became quite prosperous, but they were also ruining their own communities. Their own
And
communities were
then,
getting locked into games and spending all this money and ending up in extreme debt and becoming alcoholics. And
yeah, I
that
was
was
going to
the
say
problem with these.
alcoholics.
Yeah, that was the problem with these reservations. They're notorious for making Native Americans alcoholics. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Like alcohol was pushed big time on the reservations, big time. Like trucks delivered alcohol all the time, and like the reservations would have 2 or 3 liquor stores when in reality they only needed one. But so many people drink there that like literally they had to have 3 liquor stores. How insane. I would have to figure out the name of that reservation that I'm talking about, but
I
I've
feel
read,
like it's in Arizona.
yes, it is in Arizona, and I've read a lot about it. I don't remember the name of it right now, but
Me neither, but I've seen some videos about some of the people
it's sad.
that are there.
It's sad.
On YouTube, I watched a video about it.
We did that to them. Like, and by we, I mean just the Americans back then, not
Yeah,
today, because I don't stand for that shit. I don't think that's cool. But they
exactly.
pushed addiction and gambling and alcohol onto these people. And then on top of that, their ancestors, they pushed them out of their homes, confiscated their land, raped their women, and pillaged their culture. And most of the Indians, as crazy as it is, forgave the white man back then.
Yeah,
Which, I mean, it took a long time and probably a lot of alcohol, but it's crazy because Indians are they don't really like, from my own personal talks with Indian people of the Cherokee Nation and Blackfoot tribes. And I think I also talked to somebody that was Sequoia, I think. But basically, they don't care about the racism stuff. They think the woke culture is stupid. And basically, they think that the stuff that happened in the past should be forgotten and that they should be allowed a certain amount of what was taken. If they're going to do anything for their cultures, they want a little bit of their land back, which really isn't
yeah,
asking a lot. Like, but the government sees it as, we already gave you land. You have the reservations, but those are ran by casino owners now.
yeah,
Most reservations are owned by gambling owners.
yeah. It's
And
sad.
they become government there. On the reservation, those people are bound by casino owning people that don't care about them. And you know, it's a touchy subject because not all Indians stay on reservations, but some do. A
Yeah,
lot leave. A lot leave. The ones that want to go somewhere in society and they want to be successful figure out a way to move. But the problem is, and Cruz brought this up to me before, the problem is that a lot of natural born Indians, so if you only have Indian blood, they made some kind of, what was it, a clause or a loophole back in the day for like the only way to actually become a citizen here was like you had to go through immigration like everybody else. But
yeah. I've heard of that.
if you lived on the reservation, you didn't have to because it was Indian owned land.
Yeah.
So
That's the one thing that if I could, I live on Native American land. You know, the reservation. Because
Oh yeah,
it's, be honest with y'all, it's a lot more peaceful.
Well, no, I bet, but there's also a lot of problems that aren't talked about.
Yeah, that is true.
They're quiet problems that aren't talked about. And a lot of it is related to drug addiction, alcoholism, and gambling. And as sad as that is, the whole explanation for it, in my personal opinion, is quite a few of these people feel like they don't have a way in society, or society won't accept them unless they do certain things a certain way, and that they have to live on this land because it's the only land that they're worthy of. And I don't think that's fair. That's a really shit thing to do to somebody. That's a really shit thing to do.
Exactly.
So I'm sorry, what? Continue.
But I know Julie has some information she was wanting to go over that we had her look up.
Well, we were also going to ask you real quick because I had this conversation with you before, is that the Lakota tribe actually do care about some racism, right? They get very upset about certain things.
Like, for example, do not say Sioux.
Right.
That's
You
very
can't call them
racial to
Sioux because they
Lakota.
take it as a derogatory term.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you say Lakota, just say Lakota. Don't say Lakota Sioux because that's very derogatory. I used to say Lakota Sioux all the time because that's what I knew it as until my mom corrected me and was like, "No, it's Lakota." I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
I've heard of that before, and I've heard after some family history that I might have some relation to a Dakota Sioux or a Dakota. And one of the bad guys that they talk about in their tribe from back in the day.
The
Well,
the
they
Indians are
consider him a bad guy.
quite a crazy history when it comes to like fighting the Americans or the invaders, and it's actually quite crazy. There are some pretty intense battles,
Yes.
and there are some very famous people too. Like for instance, you said Geronimo, and then there's Sitting Bull. I know that. I remember that name. Yeah, Sitting Bull was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
okay." So here are some of what when it comes to Native Americans, do these are stereotypes you should always avoid. Phrases like chief, warrior, or Indian princess. These can
Okay,
be
so Indian Princess, yes, they do not like that. I've heard that.
yeah.
All those other ones, that's absolutely insane. I've actually talked to Indians; they do not care. And
Some do, some don't.
well, most of the Indian people that I've talked to that are from legitimate tribes, as in Cherokee, Blackfoot, and it's probably Sequoia is I think the other tribe, but I've talked to quite a few people in those tribes. They do not care at all about use of the word Indian, calling them an Indian, or anything like that, unless you come onto their land and purposefully try to cause a racial problem with them. They do not
Yeah.
care. They don't care. They're like, that's not our issue. They don't give a shit.
So here,
They actually
okay, so
petitioned for the Washington Redskins to get their name back.
so basically, when it comes to the chief, warrior, Indian princess, can be perceived as reductionist or inaccurate,
Yeah.
or inaccurate.
The Indian
Now,
princess one's it's very offensive
yes,
because
it is.
there's no such thing as a Indian princess. The only time there was an Indian princess is if like the original owner of the tribe was still alive and had a daughter. Then you
Yeah.
had technicality, you had royalty technically, but they didn't look at it that way. And calling somebody Indian princess was more of like a racial slur, kind of. You were just
Now,
like, oh, that's an Indian princess.
when it comes to don't assume homogeneity, Native American communities are diverse, with over 570 federally recognized tribes in the
Yeah,
United States. Avoid making assumptions about someone's culture or experiences based on their Native American identity.
for
Now,
sure.
here's some things you should never call Native Americans. When you're using terms, use Native American or American Indian or
Yeah.
indigenous instead of Indian or Red Indian.
Except okay, look, red Indian, I understand because it's related towards like a direct a fuse of their skin color, but most of them don't give a shit about the word Indian. Most of them do not care. They actually get very upset when it gets removed from our stuff, and the reason why is because that's recognition for
right.
them, and
Yeah.
they've actually made that very widely known.
Yeah.
So saying that they find it offensive to be called an Indian is almost laughable. They wear that with pride.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I agree. But
it,
when it comes to Red Indian, don't say red.
no, because
Don't.
it's a direct racial call out because
Yeah.
you're calling out the tone of their skin,
Yeah.
which is not okay. But like, look, I did know people. I did know 3 different Indian guys who ran pages that had a lot of followers and a lot of Indian people who all were petitioning to get the Washington Redskins to get their name back.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, and
they
I'd
were
be one of
very
them.
upset. They were very upset when that name
Yeah.
changed.
Like, okay, I get it, Paul, that the government thought, oh, it's offensive to call them the Washington Redskins. It's not offensive. It's like team.
Well, it wasn't the fact that it was offensive. It was the fact that it was offensive to the woke part of the government. They
Yeah,
wanted to change everything
there's
to make
Yeah.
everybody more comfortable. Okay.
Now,
so many like wokes.
here's phrases that you do need to avoid. And I'm gonna say this with great assault because I hate this. I hate this when it comes to my culture. Okay, your culture or your traditions. And here's why. It can be perceived very, very, very as appropriative or reductionist.
Appropriated, you mean?
Yeah. I can't stand your culture or your traditions because yes, it is my culture or my traditions, but this isn't just mine. It's my people's.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the sensitivity of this whole matter, do not ask for Indian advice. When you're asking Native Americans for advice or guidance on spiritual or cultural matters without proper context or relationship, you got to respect the cultural protocols in that aspect. You got to be mindful of our protocols and our traditions and avoid asking invasive or insensitive questions. I'm serious about this because when people ask me insensitive questions, I will literally, and this is one thing that a lot of people don't know about Native Americans, and this is one thing that Rob will tell you about me. When people ask me insensitive Native American questions, I go silent and I do not speak for weeks. And it's
True
one thing
fact.
Jolie knows. Because of and I get this from my grandfather, he's like this. When I'm very mad at someone, I will give them the silent treatment and not
I
speak
don't
to them.
I don't understand how anybody could be racist to Native Americans when literally they were here before any of us.
Uh-huh.
And here's one thing I don't like is the whole diversity thing being taken away from us. Like, come on. So I'm not allowed to be proud about my heritage, my culture, my traditions.
I mean, I think you should be.
Exactly, I should be. Like, according to the government, I'm not allowed. But to me and my people, like, come on now. Like, my family is all about the Native American pride.
Well,
I'm Native.
the government has never been good to Native American tribes.
Exactly.
Has
Like,
never. It doesn't matter who's in office. Doesn't matter if
exactly.
it's a Republican or a Democrat or a fucking liberal for that matter. It does not matter. Like, literally, the government has always shit on the Native Americans, as crappy as that is. And I mean, they really did get the short end of the stick. The Native Americans got the worst thing possible. If they didn't die, they had to walk and hope they didn't die on the way to their new destination.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. I
Yeah.
feel so bad for those people.
Yeah. So
And the ones that resisted going on that trip,
But yeah, they got
they
beat to
didn't
death.
care. They just out them.
Yeah, well, some of
here's
them
the
got
last
beat to
thing
death.
I'm going to go over on the whole, the do's and don'ts. Okay. So when you are going into like that area, acknowledge the historical trauma. Okay? You got to acknowledge that. Because there's a lot of historical trauma and ongoing impacts on the colonization, the forced relocation, the cultural suppression on Native American communities, and that's one thing you got to acknowledge. Be careful when it comes to that topic. And then when it comes to the myths, right? Avoid perpetuating the myths. When you're talking about the myths, there is a lot of misconceptions surrounding Native American history and culture.
Like the Wendigo.
Right. So avoid perpetrating them. Always avoid. Do not bring it up. Because a lot of Native Americans do not like talking about those myths.
No, that's why they
Yeah.
say it's wrong to talk about, like, to ask Native Americans about skinwalkers or Wendigos, because
Yep.
they're actually they have completely different meanings for skinwalker and Wendigo in their culture. Completely
Yeah.
different meanings. And skinwalker isn't necessarily a bad thing in Native American culture, and a Wendigo is a bad thing. So they don't like talking about them. But basically, yeah, they believe the more you talk about these things, the more you actually give them power, which in a way is what Christians believe, right?
Yeah.
The more you like talk negatively about something, the more you either take or give it power.
Yep. And the last thing, here's the general tips that I'm going to give for everybody who's not aware, that needs to be aware. Listen and learn. Take time to listen and learn from Native American experiences and perspectives. Always, no matter what. Right? Be respectful. Another thing, approach interactions with Native Americans with respect, empathy, and with an open mind. And then this last one's very, very important. Okay? Avoid appropriation.
Well, yeah, like calling all of them the same people or whatever.
Well, when it comes to the appropriation, be mindful of the cultural appropriation and avoid using Native American cultural symbols, for one, or practices without proper understanding or permission.
Well, then I'm already screwed because I have the Kansas City Chiefs logo tattooed on my arm. So
That's different. That is different. You're supporting you're supporting a football team.
it's
When
still
I'm
cultural
talking,
appropriation, technically.
well, when I mean like appropriation, I mean like the symbols, right?
Right,
You're
but it's still
supporting
a
a football
symbol.
team. That's
The,
different. That is
the arrowhead. The
okay.
arrow
Yeah, but
is
here's the
the
thing.
distinct symbol.
You gotta take this to a grain of
Wait,
salt.
wait, let me finish. The
Yeah.
arrowhead is a distinct symbol from Native American culture, and they made it out of a substance called chit and some other stuff. But basically, they would break this like blackish rock into a certain form and make it look like a spike, a triangle spike, and that's how they hunted. So like we directly stole that from them. And like you can find arrowheads still to this day in like creek beds and stuff, but that is
Yeah.
all
I've had a
locally.
couple.
Yeah, I have two actually in my own like nature reserve that's right by my house. Like literally, there's arrowheads in the creek bed. You find them
But
every now and then.
when I'm talking about like all that, I'm talking about like when
I'm
you're
I'm just saying it's still technically appropriation.
yeah. Okay, you have a point there, but at the same time, I look at it as you're supporting like the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Because
No,
it has
but
KC in there.
they used it originally as that as mock not mock. I don't think they meant it to directly mock a tribe or anything. They just took a symbol and used it, which is what you're talking about, like not using a symbol the way you're not supposed to. It's the same reason why people got upset about the Washington Redskins, literally using a picture of a Native American and calling it a redskin. Like
Yeah.
that was offensive to the woke and a couple other people that that were not okay with it.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because a lot of the Indian tribes have actually petitioned against that. They didn't want the name changed. They actually were like, no, it's recognition for basically all the bullshit that was done to us. Why do you keep taking recognition from us? Because there's been stories forever about Indian monuments like mysteriously disappearing and like leaving, and things being built where these monuments used to be, and the government basically taking back things. And
Aren't they always trying to
the
take back
tribes actually came up with a term for this. I don't know if it's offensive or not in today's world. I'm not sure, so forgive me if it is, but Indian giving.
Yeah.
Basically, when
Indian giver.
you give something to a tribesman, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 years later, you come back, you go, actually, that's mine, and you take it back, and you
It's not called Indian giving. It's called Indian giver.
an Indian giver.
But it's not. I wouldn't say it's offensive. It's just it's a term. Um, I hate that term so much, but I'm not gonna get mad about it because I've been called an Indian giver a bunch of times, and you know what? It's
That's
whatever.
ridiculous. You are Indian.
But yeah, so right. But anyways, let's shorten down your list a little bit, Julie. Just go over like one tribe, and then let's get on to a video because I know we got like 20-something minutes left.
Okay. Well, I can kind of shorten it. It's because I've already talked about the spirit animals.
Yeah.
I was only going to do a video if we need to. Julie, you can feel free to go through your information. It's not an issue.
Okay. Well, what I got for the Cherokees is they are Indonesia's people. I know I'm killing that word.
Indigenous.
Indigenous,
Thank
yeah.
you. Of the southwestern woodlands of the United States, known for their rich culture and advanced society structure and a history of resistance and invocation. Today, they're federally recognized nations in Oklahoma, the Keto Tower. I'm not going to be able to say it, so I'm going to spell it. Keetoowah.
Wait, spell that again.
I might have misspelled it. Keetoowah.
Slow down. Keet.
Wah.
Wah. Keto or
Okay.
Ketowa. It's Ketowa.
I looked to see if it
Kituwa.
was on the map. I don't see it.
It's
Okay.
Kituwa. Yeah, it's Kituwa. So I put it in our own personal chat in here, so we only can see it. It's called Kituwa.
Okay, that sounds about right. It's
Yeah.
one of the bands of Cherokee Indians and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians in North Carolina. The Cherokee language is part of the Irona language family in a Cherokee written system was developed in the early 19th century by Segala Sequoyah. H. Sequoia. Yeah. They lived in North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama, and South Carolina. And their hunting ground was in Kentucky. They were skilled farmers, cultivating corn, beans, and squash, and also practiced basketry and pottery. Based in Oklahoma, this is the largest federally recognized tribe in the U.S., and their religion is a majority of Christianity with Baptist and Methodist. And then I've already talked about the most common spirit animal.
Okay.
And then if you want, I can go over the Apaches.
Go for it.
Go for it, yeah.
The Apaches are several oh golly, these spelling, I can't pronounce it very well. Athabascan speaking. I can't say their language. Indians, people of the southwestern United States and northern Mexico, historically residing in the region known as the Grand I can't pronounce it.
The Cherokee?
Apache.
Apache.
I can't pronounce the rest of that. They are divided into eastern and western groups and includes distinct tribes such as the Chera, Chera, gosh, Chera, something like that, and the Mexicala and Western Apache. I'm sorry if I'm butchering these names.
They got crazy names. It's hard
Yeah,
to
they do.
understand if you're not from that tribe
Yeah.
or know how to speak that language.
They are known for their resilient culture, skilled horsemanship, and fierce resistance against European and American enroachment, with figures like Geronimo becoming prominent in the late 19th century. They migrated from, oh golly, I'm going to spell this one. Maybe you can help me pronounce it. Athabascan, Athabascan homelands, in the far north between 1000 and 1400 CE. Their language is from the southern Athabascan and also includes Navajo. The broader Apache group is generally divided into eastern and western Apache, with the Rio Grande serving as a general dividing line. Their or history or domain of the Grand Apache, that word again, stretches from Arkansas River in the north to Mexico in the south, and from the Great Plains in the east to Arizona into the west. They are skilled hunters and gatherers who also adapted farming and livestock and herding after contact with the Pueblo.
The Pueblo.
Pueblo, thank you. And instructed of the horse with the Spanish. Yeah. Today, they currently reside on several reservations in Arizona and New Mexico and Oklahoma. That's all I got on them.
All right. Now, since we're almost getting close to time, Rob, could you do me one solid and pull up a video on YouTube of every tribe there is? And try not to find a long one because I know we don't want to sit through a long video. Please and thank you.
Every Native American tribe explained in one video, 6-hour documentary.
No.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm not sitting through a
Yeah,
video. For
I don't
6
think
hours.
we'll.
I mean, if I want to,
I
I
did
would.
I sent you a couple of videos on the Cherokee and the Apache.
I
They're
know,
short.
but we want to go over all the tribes, not into like 6 hours.
Yeah.
So
Well, we're not going to get a video of all the tribes, but
I mean, we can do some.
I have videos of tribes.
Okay.
Tribes in history. While many Native American tribes were powerful in their own right, 3 tribes are particularly feared for their unmatched ferocity. These tribes weren't just formidable, they were downright terrifying, tearing through any opposition in ways that would send shivers down your spine. On this video, we're revealing 3 of the deadliest Native American tribes you might not have known. Before we dive into this chilling history, be sure to like and subscribe for more insightful content. Just hearing the name of this tribe was enough to instill fear, even among other native tribes. Known as the Lords of the Plains, their name comes from the Ute word Comanche, meaning someone who always wants to fight, or simply enemy. The Comanche's roots trace back to the Shoshone tribe, who lived in the western United States in a region known as the Great Basin. Anthropological findings reveal similarities between these tribes, such as language and lifestyle. Their language belongs to the Uto-Aztecan family, which includes various native languages across the western U.S. When European settlers, especially the Spanish, introduced horses to North America in the 16th century, these animals gradually spread among the indigenous tribes. The Comanches traded with neighboring tribes like the Pueblo, who had Spanish influence, or other plains tribes that already had horses. Through these trade networks, the Comanches acquired horses, exchanging buffalo hides, captives, or other resources. With horses, they quickly became expert horsemen, expanding their territory far beyond their Shoshone homeland. The plains of eastern Colorado and western Kansas, rich with buffalo, attracted the Comanches. They became exceptional equestrians, using horses for hunting, trading, and warfare. Horses not only provided transportation, but also symbolized status and power within Comanche society. Comanches were unmatched in horsemanship. Children learned to ride at a young age, and both men and women developed remarkable riding skills. The Comanches had a unique talent for capturing and training wild horses. Once they spotted a wild horse, they would rope its neck, choke it until it fainted, and then bring it back to consciousness by carefully blowing into its nose.
Oh, wow.
Then clean the horse, remove wild hairs around its eyes, and fit it with a headstall to control it. The wild horse would be paired with a calm mare, forming a bond and familiarizing it with human presence. After a few days, the horse was released but stayed close to the mare. When it was time to ride, the handler would lead the horse into deep water or a sandy creek bed, which helped reduce its resistance and cushioned any falls if the horse bucked its rider. William Blakemore, an Englishman who lived with the tribe for 8 years, said, "On foot, slow and awkward, but on horseback, graceful. They are the most expert and daring riders in the world." In battle, the Comanches were terrifying. They would sweep down on their enemies with deafening war cries, concealing their entire bodies behind their horses except for one foot, and discharge bullets or arrows with deadly accuracy over and under their horses' necks. Each Comanche had a favorite war horse, which they only rode into battle, and even the women were fearless riders, lassoing antelope and hunting buffalo. The Comanches grew rapidly in power, known for their relentless and brutal warfare. They were fiercely determined and exceedingly violent with their enemies.
After Spain acquired Louisiana from France, Spanish soldiers reported that the Comanches were unparalleled in horsemanship and fearless in battle. The Comanches didn't make peace easily. They were bold and tenacious, killing many European settlers and making it nearly impossible for the French, Spanish, and Americans to take their land. The Comanches were so fierce that they single-handedly halted Spanish expansion for nearly 50 years. General James Wilkinson of the United States described the Comanches as the most formidable indigenous group on the continent.
My daughter's in ballet.
Wonderful.
And you need to set a bun,
Give me
and
ads.
you don't know what
That's what I
set
want.
means.
Exactly.
Initially labeled as horse thieves, the Comanches gained a fearsome reputation through their ruthless raids, which were so intense that northern Spanish and Mexican settlers referred to them as the Comanche Moon. In these brutal night raids, hundreds of Comanches on horseback would invade Mexican settlements, massacre men, abduct women, and steal horses. When European settlers crossed their lands, the Comanches would attack, steal their horses, and later sell them to the Spanish-Mexican Empire or the Americans. Despite being a relatively small tribe of around 40,000 people, each Comanche owned 2 to 3 horses. In their culture, young warriors had to prove their status through frequent raids, showing their ability to kill and steal. This was the only way to gain prestige, wealth, and respect within their families and bands. Comanche women were known for their skilled and merciless torture methods inflicted on captives. Once at the mercy of a Comanche woman, enemies would pray for death. S.C. Gwynn, author of Empire of the Summer Moon, wrote that no other tribe in the history of Spanish, French, Mexican, Texan, and American presence in the region inflicted such widespread havoc and death. There isn't even a close second. Gwynn vividly describes the demonic brutality of Comanche attacks on white settlers, where torture, killings, and gang rapes were common. The Comanches' raids followed a grim logic. All men were killed, captives were tortured, women were gang raped, and babies were killed.
Jesus.
T.R. Fehrenbach, author of Comanche,
Wow.
History of a People, recounts a tragic incident involving the Parker family, early settlers at Fort Parker. In 1836, around
Trigger
100
warning.
Comanche warriors on horseback approached the fort. One warrior waved a white flag to deceive the Parkers. Fehrenbach details how Benjamin Parker stepped outside the fort to parley with the Comanches, only to be surrounded and speared by their lances. The Comanches charged the fort with loud war cries, killing the two Frosts, father and son, before the women. John Parker was brutally mutilated, scalped, and left for dead. Granny Parker was impaled to the ground with a lance and endured unspeakable assaults. The Comanches were notorious for torturing captives, including American and Mexican soldiers. Some were roasted alive over open fires, others were castrated and scalped while still
Ugh.
conscious. One particularly gruesome method involved burying captives up to their chins, cutting off their eyelids, and exposing their eyes to the burning sun until they starved to death.
Jesus.
Historical accounts also tell of Comanches staking naked male captives over red ant beds,
Oh
sometimes
my
after
God.
cutting off their private parts and stuffing them into their mouths, sewing their lips
Ugh.
together. In another cruel tactic, captives were sewn into untreated leather and left in the sun.
What
As the leather
fuck?
dried and tightened, it slowly suffocated the prisoner. According to
Wow.
T.R. Fehrenbach, a Spanish account reveals that the Comanches tortured Tonkawa Indian captives by burning their hands and
Oh.
feet until the nerves were destroyed, amputating these extremities, and then repeating the fire treatment on fresh wounds. The Tonkawas, scalped alive, also had their tongues torn out to silence their screams. Before we reveal the next deadliest tribe, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. The Iroquois Confederacy, also known as the Haudenosaunee or Six Nations, is another powerful example of indigenous political and social organization in North America. The roots of this formidable alliance trace back to the collaboration of distinct tribes like the Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, and Seneca. The Mohawk, situated to the east, were known for their strategic location and interactions with early European settlers. The Oneida, with roots in the Great Lakes region, and the Onondaga, positioned in central New York, added to the Confederacy's diversity. The Cayuga and Seneca, residing to the west and south respectively, further strengthened this alliance with their unique contributions. Interestingly, the name Iroquois wasn't originally from this confederacy, but was given by the Algonquins, well-known enemies of the Haudenosaunee. They were often referred to as Iroquois, a name meaning rattlesnake. Why such a name? Simply put, the Iroquois were masters at silently approaching their enemies and delivering not just the swiftest, but also the most lethal blows. Before their enemies could even react, many able-bodied warriors would have already fallen. The Iroquois were known for their strong and assertive nature, frequently expanding their territory by raiding neighboring tribes. They easily struck fear into the hearts of many, defeating countless Native American tribes. Among those heavily impacted by their raids were the Huron, Erie, and Susquehannock. From a young age, Iroquois' youth underwent military training, perfecting their skills with bows, arrows, spears, and clubs. During their adolescent years, they joined raids against rival Native American groups and, on occasion, white settlers. This early exposure to warfare shaped them into fierce fighters who fought without hesitation, driven solely by the desire for victory. Demonstrating military prowess not only earned individuals respect, but also opened the path to becoming a war chief.
Yep.
One particularly grim aspect of Iroquois warfare was their treatment of prisoners. Captives were often subjected to the harrowing ordeal of running the gauntlet, a fearsome ritual where they had to sprint between two lines of Iroquois warriors armed with thorny sticks and branches, enduring physical punishment. This practice underscored the intensity of intertribal conflicts and the strict military culture within Iroquois society. The Beaver Wars, which spanned the 17th century, were a brutal period for the Iroquois Confederacy, as they engaged in conflicts aimed at expanding their territory. One of their notable conquests was the subjugation of the Susquehannocks in what is now Pennsylvania. Additionally, the Iroquois significantly weakened the Huron people around the Great Lakes, further consolidating their influence in the region. By the early 1700s, at the peak of their power, the Iroquois controlled vast territories stretching from the western lands to the northern reaches of Michigan and southward to the hills of Tennessee. What set the Iroquois Confederacy apart was their extraordinary ability to maintain unity among the different nations within their confederation. This unity was especially evident during the French and Indian War, when all the Iroquois nations aligned with the British. As the Bible verse says, "And if one prevails against him, two shall withstand him, and a threefold cord is not quickly broken." Unity indeed builds a formidable nation. The Apache people are part of the southern branch of the Athabascan group. The languages of this group are spoken across a large family in Alaska, Western Canada, and the American Southwest. Different branches of the Apache tribes lived across a region that stretched from the Arkansas River to northern Mexico and from central Texas to central Arizona. The Apache not only survived, but thrived, surrounded by powerful empires, successfully navigating challenges posed by the Spanish, Comanche, Ute, and American influences. Living in rugged terrain, the Apache became masters of mobile guerrilla warfare, armed with traditional bows and more modern rifles introduced by European powers. It is said that Apache warriors could fire multiple arrows in a single shot while expertly riding a horse. The survival strategies of the Apache were deeply rooted in their exceptional skills in stealth and surprise, forming the foundation of their military prowess.
A toasty Thomas's brekkie. Oh,
Thanks, Tom.
huzzah!
With hotels and vacation rentals, Booking.com has something for
Yada. Okay. Don't care.
Yeah.
They were, in simple terms, masters of hide and seek. This ability allowed them to execute sudden and unexpected strikes against their adversaries, catching them off guard and demoralizing them. Apache warriors, skilled in surprise attacks, would emerge swiftly from hiding, launch precise assaults, and retreat just as quickly into the terrain they knew so well. One remarkable aspect of Apache warfare was their skill in raiding. They demonstrated an unparalleled ability to cover vast distances rapidly, whether on foot or horseback. This mobility, combined with their strategic expertise, enabled them to strike with precision and retreat before their enemies could recover from the shock. The Apache seamlessly integrated Spanish horses and steel weapons into their warfare tactics, showcasing their adaptability. They quickly learned to wield lances and knives with impressive speed, further enhancing their effectiveness in battle. General Crook's description of the Apaches as the tigers of the human race aptly captured the formidable nature of these warriors. Their ruggedness and physical prowess were such that they could outrun cavalry on foot, displaying an exceptional level of agility and endurance. In battle, Apaches exhibited remarkable skill in archery, releasing 7 arrows into the air before the first one even touched the ground, a testament to their quick and precise marksmanship. When it came to torturing captives, they did so without a hint of remorse. Enemies were skinned and burned alive, and the children of their foes met a grim fate, their heads smashed against walls. Adding to their cruelty, they held in high regard anyone who could invent a new method of torturing captives. To sum it all up, these 3 tribes will forever stand out as those who effortlessly instilled fear in the hearts of all their enemies. Share your thoughts with us in the comments below.
Hey, I got a true story.
Okay.
I've watched this countless times on Mysteries at the Museum about a person that was scalped but lived to tell about it. And there's evidence in a museum of his scalp.
Yeah, I've heard.
But somehow he survived.
I've actually heard that. So, what's something new you learned tonight, Julie?
Uh, I don't know. I've known a lot of the stuff because I've always been interested in the Indian culture since I was real little.
Got you.
And then I grew up listening to that song about that it was a little Indian song we played as a kid about 3 little I forget how it goes now, but I've always loved Native American culture.
I always like the art. Native American art is one of a kind. And it
Oh,
looks
for sure.
absolutely
I
amazing.
used to have a rabbit skin.
I didn't have, but I saw people that I personally knew that had actual Navajo art, and it was absolutely gorgeous.
I bet. I just wish I could go to another powwow. I haven't been to a powwow since I was at least 18.
I've never been.
You never been, bro?
Nope.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Okay.
You need to. Oh,
One of these days, bro. You and I, you, me, your wife, and your son are all gonna go together.
Okay.
I mean, it is something that you will always remember.
Oh
And
yeah.
then the storyteller. Oh my gosh. The storyteller at one of the powwows I went to, the way he told that story, just, oh my goodness. It's hard to even describe how he told that story. And hearing the drums in person are incredible. And I watch powwows on TikTok sometimes when they go live. I follow people that share the powwows.
That's cool.
And it's really neat. Whenever I'm in a mood, I'll sit there and just listen to the music they make, and it's wonderful, in my opinion.
So, Crew, did you learn anything new?
Nope. I've already knew this info. You should know this by now, bro. I know my
I just thought I'd ask, homie. I just thought I'd ask.
I know.
Well, anyways, guys, that's going to tie it up tonight for the Robert and Crew show. But we are back, and we will be on here nightly unless we have, unless something comes up, and we'll let you guys know via the Facebook page. besides that, we're going to start showing again our merch page and the donation bar code for Venmo. Neither is mandatory. You can buy merch or donate, or just share the show. Share the show. That helps us the most.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
subscribe, and share with your friends, your grandma, your grandpa, whoever you would like to share it to.
Dude, share it with your grandma. Share it with your grandpa's mistress. Share it with everybody.
Where's your Robbie killing with me with those jokes. Okay. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed tonight's episode. We will be back tomorrow night on another episode. We will let you know on the page what it will be.
Peace out. Much love from the Robert and Crew Show.
Peace.
Can you believe Season 7 just keeps getting wilder? Thanks for tuning in, podcast pals. From ghost stories to headline news and epic Euro travel, we've covered it all, plus a side of laughs. Don't miss out. Hit subscribe and join us next time for more news, thrills, and adventures. See you soon.